I know that the heavier part that y'all trying to understand is the alphabet soup that goes with open enrollment, the FSA, the HSA, that stuff, right? PPO plan is the one that comes with the flexible savings account, right? The high deductible you can get with the health savings account. So remember, if you have a high deductible plan, that's the only way you can get that HSA. Call a high deductible plan because the deductible high as hell. Some companies do that. It's not all companies. It's very, very legal. Somebody was like, oh, that don't even sound ethical. Child, it's legal. I don't know about ethics, but it's legal. Y'all like to me, that's why I be confused. My bad. The HSA one, remember the one that you can put how much you want to put in it. You can stop it and start it whenever you want. Because I don't think I told y'all with the HSA, you can stop and start it whenever you want. FSA, once you paying back them payments, you can't stop that. You just got to keep letting them take that money out your check. I have already written a blog, so definitely check this blog out as well because this blog goes through everything. You can use it year after year after year. Hey y'all, this is Tamika, the face behind HR, and I know it's the end of the year. It's time to choose new benefits. You keep getting all these emails and alerts about open enrollment. Y'all, it is easy peasy. And I think it's easy for me because I've been working in HR for the last 12 years. I have worked my way up from an HR assistant to an HR director. And now I happily sit as a global human resources business partner. I not only have an MBA, but I also have a master's in human resources management. And I have the highest level SHRM certification. So I know that I probably eat and breathe this stuff. I say it all the time. I eat and breathe human resources. One of my first interests before I decided that I wanted to work in anywhere in HR, I absolutely thought that I wanted to work in benefits. I like benefits because benefits is a time that the company gives back to you. So I know y'all might be like, I get so confused. I see people over the years bringing their wives. I've seen them bringing their mothers. I've seen them have their coworkers fill out their open enrollment forms or complete it in the computer system because people get so confused. Every year, I am prepared that I'm gonna get a lot of emails, a lot of Slacks, a lot of phone calls about open enrollment. But I am here to make it super easy for you. And if I don't make it easy for you, put the questions in the chat and I promise I got you. Because not only am I passionate about human resources, but I'm passionate about making sure that you guys see all facets of human resources. So I want to make sure that we all on the same page. So let's dive into understanding open enrollment for employees specifically. Right? So open enrollment literally is a period in a year where you need to either re-elect benefits, or you can change your benefits, or you can do whatever you want with your benefits without a qualifying event. I know maybe sometime in the year, something may have happened. You're like, man, this benefits cost too much. I'm going to tell my husband to go ahead and get on his plan, I'm going to holler at HR and see if they'll go ahead and let me take my husband off because he's going to take the kids. His plan cheaper. He got a new job, And so I want to take them off. And HR says, no, you can't until this period of time. That is because anytime outside of regular open enrollment time, you need what they call a qualifying event. So a qualifying event is like 6 different categories that you have to fit one of those categories in order to make a change in your benefits. So it's normally if you're adding someone onto your family, right? So that's if you're doing a legal adoption. That's if you're doing a child, you're giving birth to a child. Sometimes it's for if someone loses benefits, then you can make a change. There are different things, and I'm not going to go into the details of that because I know that the heavier part that y'all trying to understand is the alphabet soup that goes with open enrollment, the FSA, the HSA, that stuff, right? So let's dive into that. Open enrollment is a good time that you can make any change you want to make. If you had a benefit you realize you hadn't used all year, this is your time to just get rid of it. If you had a benefit that you realize I should have gotten, like you realize your vision's going worse throughout the year, but you don't have vision coverage. Okay, now you can add vision on. If you realize that your spouse's benefits is cheaper or better in any way, this is the time to get off of benefits, right? Some companies, now I'm going to warn y'all because what made me really think about this is not only because it's the end of the year, but also because I was in not even an HR Facebook group, but it was just a regular like chat group. One of those Facebook groups where people were like, oh, it's that time of year where I feel like an idiot. And the comments went crazy. And I said to some person, because they were like, well, just go on your spouse's one if it don't work out or something like that. And I was like, well, not all companies let you do that because some companies will charge you a surcharge. So if you're going to change from one benefit or another, make sure you ask human resources between, your spouse's benefits and your benefits. Make sure there's not a surcharge because the surcharge says, I'm offering you benefits and now you're choosing to take somebody else's. So I'm going to charge you X dollars per month or per pay period for not taking my benefits. So some companies do that. It's not all companies. It's very, very legal. Somebody was like, oh, that don't even sound ethical. Child, it's legal. I don't know about ethics, but it's legal. So just make sure, because not every company does that. And I love the companies that don't, but there are some companies that do it because it does cost them more money, because we send in reports and so they know how many employees we have. And so it does cost companies more money. I won't go into all those details. But let's talk about first the hardest plan, in my opinion. The hardest plan is a high deductible plan. You probably have heard of that as the HDHP plan. That plan is a plan where the deductible is just high. If you go to a doctor's office, most times they're not going to charge you anything at the door, because whatever you're going to pay depends on how much all of your charges are. So the high deductible plan is typically one where when you go into the doctor's office, you go into the ER, you go into anywhere. I can't say the ER because the ER is a little bit different. But typically if you go into the regular doctor's office, they're not going to charge you anything. What they'll say is, we're going to send the bill to you later. So what they do is they send a claim to the insurance company. The insurance company pays what they're going to pay, which is usually nothing, because you have a high deductible plan, which means you have to meet all of the deductible costs before the insurance company pays anything. So typically you pay for that whole visit, and then you keep paying for visits until you reach that high deductible cost.
Tamika, how much is a high deductible?
It depends on your company. Every company always gives you a benefit manual every year, and y'all want to pay attention to that knowing chart, because that chart really is a breakdown of what we call a summary of benefits, which tells you how much it costs you if you go to different types of medical offices. If it's one of the doc in the boxes, or the emergency cares that you find on the corner everywhere. If it is like on the phone, you are a virtual visit. If it's your family care, primary care, if it's an emergency room, if it's cosmetic surgery, which most cosmetic surgeries aren't included in your plans, period. It'll literally break down what percentage you pay. With the high deductible, if y'all look at that chart, everything's going to show 100% to deductible. It means they want you to pay for the entire bill until you get to the deductible. It's called a high deductible plan because the deductible high as hell. Like typically the deductible is anywhere from $6,000 to, I think the highest I've seen is like $12,000. And it means every time you go to the doctor, they keep adding that to that deductible cost. Once you get to that deductible, then you pay nothing at all. Or sometimes you'll pay like 80%. Again, depends on the plan, because these are the things that you guys don't see that HR is negotiating before we push that plan to you. And so the high deductible plan costs you nothing at the office, but you're going to definitely get a bill sent to you. I personally am a big fan of the high deductible plan. And I was a big fan. Let me correct that. I was a big fan of the high deductible plan when I rarely ever go to the doctor. So if you're a healthy person, you only probably see your primary physician like once a year. You go for all your preventative stuff, like you always getting your teeth clean, you always getting your physical done, things like that. Traditionally, any protective care, ever since Obamacare came into effect, is covered at 100%, so you don't pay anything for those. It's only when you come back for a follow-up or escalation from that visit that will cost you. But traditionally, that stuff doesn't cost you anything. And what I like about that plan is that you get the health savings account. That's the HSA. You get that health savings account, and you can just put money out of your paycheck into that account. So that if something does come up, you just slide that card like a regular debit card. You use it only for like prescriptions, your deductibles, your doctor's office visits, things that are medically related. A lot of people will have an HSA store, and that's usually external to the company, or they'll provide you a list of things that's included. I hate to be, negative Nancy, but I never really push people to the overall HSA store, because there are tons of them, because some plans don't allow you to buy stuff like an electronic toothbrush or things like that. Like they're just little caveats sometimes that they don't include. But you can always pay for that doctor's visit that may come up that you're like, damn, now I got to pay this $300 bill. You just call in with that card or go online with that card. So the HSA, that's not only the only benefit of it, because there are tons of benefits with the health savings account. With the HSA, not only is it your money going into it, but you don't ever have to worry about a cap on it traditionally. You can always, there's a cap, but it's not one where like, okay, I get to this point and I can't use it anymore because I used all my money. It's literally used as a savings account. So you'll always have that money on that card that you can use from year to year. There's no, okay, once you get to this limit, you're done. The second thing I like about a health savings account is, let's say you're one of those people, you never go to the doctor, but you decide, I'm going to put a whole lot of money in this health savings account, and now you may quit that job or change to a different plan that doesn't have the HSA. When you separate from that company, terminate, get fired, resign, quit, whatever you want to call it, you can take all the money you put in that HSA and either use it on medical expenses, or you can roll it into your retirement account. So that's another benefit of the HSA. Another benefit that I love about the HSA, hands down, is that like you can use it as a tax deduction. So like now we have to report how much money we pay for healthcare. So it'll also show how much you put into your HSA. So y'all probably you definitely get a form now, ever since Obamacare. You get a form in the mail that you have to take to your tax person. That form comes from your employer saying how much you paid into health benefits. It includes that HSA, and that gives you a bit of a tax break because you contributed to HSA. So that's another reason I like an HSA. So remember, if you have a high deductible plan, that's the only way you can get that HSA. You cannot get that low debit card, credit card, unless you have the high deductible plan. And you only want that high deductible plan if you really ain't planning on going to the doctor. If you know you got a surgery coming up, if you know you be getting sick on a regular, you know you have a hereditary disorder or disease, you know you may be waiting on a transplant, you know you may be a sickle cell patient, you know you may be someone that has back issues, you don't want that high deductible because you're going to be paying a lot of money. What you want instead is the PPO plan. So let's go from the high deductible HSA and let's go to the PPO. The PPO plan is the one that comes with the flexible savings account, right? The high deductible you can get with the health savings account. The PPO you can get with the flexible savings account. Y'all like to me, that's why I be confused. My bad. But honestly, the PPO plan is a fixed cost. So if you look at that chart, remember I told you it's in your benefits manual, right? If your benefits manual online, or they give you a little booklet, they look all cute, got some of y'all pictures in it, whatever. Go to the page that has the chart for the health plan. Look for the PPO plan. And then when you look for that PPO plan, it'll show you how much you're going to pay if you go to the doctor. So personally, I used to have the high deductible. This year is my first year I went to the PPO. Every time I go to the doctor, I'm always being told to pay $30. It's always going to be the same, as long as you go to a preventative care. So if I decide I'm going to go to an emergency care place, right? You're like, oh no, I'm going to that place right next to the mall. I'm going to that little Roper clinic, or whatever the case may be. The cost may be a little bit different. Typically it's like $60. It kind of doubles what you pay to your primary care. If you go to the ER, typically you're going to pay one cost. It's higher, it's more expensive, but typically it's going to be like $1,200 or $1,500. You don't have to worry about an $8,000 or $10,000 bill that really would come with the ER visit. So I like the PPO for the people who knows that they're going to go constantly, or for the people that have small kids that get in accidents from time to time. And small kids, you never know when they're going to get in accidents. I always tell people, think that through. As HR, I can't tell you which plan to choose, but I try to go through enough scenarios. And in this case, this is my own channel, so I'm going to be real with y'all. If you got little kids, you find yourself being a clumsy person yourself, or you think you have a surgery coming up, or you ain't feeling quite right, you know you ain't been to your primary care doctor in a long time, you want that PPO plan. If you know you don't make that much money, to be I ain't got that much money, you know you want to buy a house, I don't want to have a health care bill that I know I'm never going to pay, now that's going to end up on my credit, then you need that PPO plan. And now let me tell you the only times you need this flexible savings account, because y'all get excited like, oh yeah, I'm going to get the flexible savings account. The flexible savings account is a loan from your company. So you can get it, but you're going to say, okay, cool, I want $1,000 for the whole year. They're going to break that $1,000 by how many pay periods you have, and that's going to be how much you pay back per paycheck. Be very, very careful, because with the flexible savings account, if you separate for that company or that organization for whatever reason, you get fired, you get terminated, you quit, whatever. If you separate, you no longer can use that card. You no longer can use it. The good thing about it is when you separate, if you said, okay, I want $1,000, they already put $1,000 on that card, you end up and you decide, okay, I'm going to stop working in July or June, mid-year, you've only paid back $500. They can't take the rest of that $500. The company really literally loses that $500. So that's what is a good thing about a flexible savings account, is that you can fix how much you want to pay into, and you don't have to come up with that money up front. Your employer kind of fronts that money to you, so it's literally a loan with no interest. So a lot of people like that, but people get confused because they're like, don't I have to use it by December 31st? Now they've extended it where you can use it up until March. So people are like, well, I can use it up until March. Yeah, use the hell out of that card and get it down to zero. When I used to get a flexible savings account when my daughter was younger, I would go to the eye doctor, and let me tell y'all, I would get me a second pair of glasses. I got so many glasses all over this house. I got one in the car, one in my office, one in my room, like 3 of them on my shelf. I have glasses everywhere. When I used to go into the office, I'd have them in the office and just leave it there. Another one in my purse, another one in the car, another one at the house, because I would use my flexible savings account to buy me a new glasses. I got so fancy where I was like, okay, I got glasses everywhere. I really don't need another glasses. I would take one of my existing glasses or buy a whole new glasses that is sunshades with my prescription in it. So you can do that. If your plan allows you, you can get like the nice electronic toothbrush. You can get the heads to go with the electronic toothbrush. You can get additional contacts. You can get any type of healthcare. It can be healthcare, vision care, or dental care. You can use that card up. So I always tell people when you get to the end of the year, use that card up because they're going to keep taking that money out of your paycheck. You're going to pay back all of that money. So you want to make sure that you don't lose it, because that's where you lose the money if you don't use all the money by a certain time. So that's the biggest thing I want y'all to know about these plans, is that open enrollment only happens once a year for every company. Not every company has open enrollment that matches your calendar year. I love the companies that have an open enrollment that starts in November, December, and then your benefits start in January. I love those companies because it's just easy calculation. But there are a lot of companies that may have open enrollment in March because your plan starts in April. Or they may have it in May because your plan starts in June. There's some companies that do it by their fiscal year. There are a lot of companies that do it by the calendar year. So pay attention. This is a time where you want to compare your plan, particularly that page that has the chart on it, with your husband's plan. You want to compare that. This is a time where you're like, listen, I'm good. I don't even need to go back to the optometrist no time soon to get no glasses. I'm going to get rid of vision. Traditionally, vision and dental are super low cost. So personally, I keep it. Now, if you're somebody who are like, you know what, I never thought about the HSA or the FSA because I just be paying out of pocket, then you want to kind of pay attention to if you should get one or the other, depending on which plan you get. Because honestly, there are times that I've had high dental costs. I pay that with my HSA card. I have a dental copay. I pay that with my HSA card. I need new glasses. I pay that with my HSA card. I have to pay an exam fee when I get my eyes checked. I pay that with my HSA card. I got prescriptions I need to pick up. I pay that with my HSA card. It's like so many things that if you have things going on and you don't want to always pay out of your check, or you don't have it built into your budget, or you literally living paycheck to paycheck, HSA or FSA card may be good. All right, quick recap. You're going to only get the health savings account, the HSA one. Remember, the one that you can put how much you want to put in it. You can stop it and start it whenever you want, because I don't think I told y'all with the HSA, you can stop and start it whenever you want. FSA, once you paying back them payments, you can't stop that. You just got to keep letting them take that money out your check. HSA, sometimes I increase it, sometimes I decrease it, sometimes I stop it, sometimes I keep it going. So your HSA is only going to come with the high deductible plan. That's the one where every time you go to the doctor's office, they're going to be like, you don't owe us nothing, you will get a bill in the mail. But by a month, maybe sometimes 2 months later, you got this hefty bill in the mail. So that's your high deductible plan that comes with your HSA card. Cool? Let's go over here to PPO. So your PPO is that one where you always going to pay that nice little $20 at the door, $30 at the door. You know, you're going to always know that, girl, I don't be paying all no bills. I'm going to go ahead and pay this at the door, and I don't worry about a bill later, right? That's a nice little plan for the people who on a tight budget, or the people who really don't have those expenses, or the people that go to the doctor way too often. Well, that is where you can get the flexible savings account. I'm going to be honest with y'all. With that PPO, that's not only where you can get the flexible savings account, but if your company has the dependent account that pays for childcare, you can get it with that plan too. You can't really get the dependent account with everything else. Cool? All right. So I hope that clears some things up, because I was feeling so bad for folks, because it was nice to see that it was like, at first I thought to myself, is it just the companies I work for? But I realized it could be a lot. So I hope that this really helps you guys. I have already written a blog, so definitely check this blog out as well, because this blog goes through everything. You can use it year after year after year, because I don't go into specific plan details. I just go into what the PPO is HSA, FSA, that type of thing, high deductible. So I keep it there. You can use it as your little Bible every year that you need to go ahead and do open enrollment. But don't let open enrollment scare you. Don't let it be a thing that you're like, oh, we got to do this again. It's for your benefit. That's what the company paying back to you, child. Y'all know some health savings accounts companies will give you money into that plan automatically. I always used to like really big earrings, and when I wear those super big earrings, they used to wear my ears down a lot, right? They used to wear my ears down until it split my ear loop, my little area right here. I don't know what you call it, but it split that area, so I couldn't wear earrings anymore. I worked at a company. Luckily, I worked in HR. So I was like, listen, if we're going to take this plan that's too expensive for our employees, we need to give the money into the HSA. And our employer decided she was going to give every employee $400. And I went and got my ear fixed, and it only had cost me $250. I slide my HSA card to get my ear fixed. I'm just telling y'all, it's a little push you can do with these things. You just got to pay attention, my friend. If I didn't clear this up enough for y'all, please do me a huge favor and put it down in the chat, because that's the only way, well, the comment section. That's the only way I know how to help y'all. Otherwise, I'm just talking to my lens, right? In my little recording she shared, talking to my lens. I don't know what kind of health questions y'all have, and I want to help you with this. So for those of you who are new, I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did find any value in it, please subscribe. For those of you who are returning, I appreciate you. I can't wait to see you on the next video.